morning, guys. Welcome back to the Broken Farm. Today is actually Thursday. It's about 11 o'clock, and let's see, I think the last time that we did a video, it was Sunday, and Monday was Memorial Day. We didn't do a whole lot. My parents, I think if you watched our last video, my parents came into town and our son Christian came into town, so we kind of took it easy on Monday. I think we got a few things done, but not a lot. And then Tuesday was moving day for my classroom, so we spent the day going to my old school, getting all of my things and picking them up and moving them to my new school. I have so much stuff that we didn't get it in one load. We actually had to go back, and I had to take a second load in my car. But we got it done, and it's all a big mess in my classroom, so that'll be interesting to try to work on getting that unpacked when it gets closer to the start of the school year. But then yesterday, Wednesday, what did we do? My mom and Bailey and I ended up spending most of the day going into town. We had a few things we needed to get, so we did that. And here at the house, Shawn and my dad and Christian did a lot of work. So I'll show you all of the stuff that they did here in just a moment. But before I do, we are making pho on the farm. So if you know anything about pho, it is a Vietnamese beef noodle soup, and my mom is Vietnamese, so she makes the best pho around. And one of the things that we love to do is make pho whenever they visit. And it's Natalie's very favorite. It is her favorite dish. It is her favorite thing to eat. So she's been waiting for it because it's been since we moved in July since she had some. So it's been a year. And so we've got it going, but because I don't have a stove inside the house, we've had to kind of improvise. And one of the things that we improvised with is I bought this Camp Chef propane stove. So we have this pho going here, and all that's in there right now is water and beef soup bones. It is 25 pounds of beef soup bones and water, and we started it yesterday. One of the things about cooking pho is a lot of people try to do it. I know you can look up recipes for cooking it in an Instant Pot, and I'm sure it can be done, but to get the best tasting pho and the authentic tasting pho, it needs to be cooked low and slow. So it's probably, I'm gonna talk to my mom about that because I think it's, oh, here comes Coco, she's jetting out. All right, there's Mom. All right, so she is adding water and the spice packet. So in the spice packet, there is it the star anise?
Yeah.
There's cinnamon, yes, I see her.
Cinnamon stick.
There's cinnamon stick.
And orange skin.
What is that?
That's orange skin.
Orange skin? Okay, I'll show you the packet that came with it. But I know my mom has said you can make it without the packet. So we got the packet, I think, gosh, I don't know if she got that in Vietnam or if she got it at the Oriental Food Store. Not exactly sure, but she says you can make it without that packet. It's just kind of like all the spices together at once. So I will tell you, because my mom is one of those cooks that she just throws stuff together and it tastes delicious. So it's taken us many, many years to actually get a pho recipe out of her because she pours in, a little bit more. She doesn't measure anything. So over the last several years, we've finally gotten her to nail down a recipe for us, and now we can all make it. So, and I know we've all made it without that packet, that spice packet. And one giant onion is going in there. So this is probably, how long would you say we cooked it yesterday, Mom?
From about 2 or 3 until 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Okay, so it probably cooked for roughly 6 hours yesterday. And when you cook it, you do not want it to boil rapidly. You want it to be a low simmer. So just enough to see a few bubbles on top. And then they turned it on this morning, I'm gonna guess around 6:30, because when I got up around 7, it was already on. So it's gonna cook, and we can probably have it for lunch in an hour or two. but it will be even better tonight for dinner. Sorry, Coco's taking off on me. She's too little to be out here on her own. All right, there she is. So that's what we're cooking right now. And let me update you on what else has been done. Yesterday when we went into town, I was pleasantly surprised to come home and find that they moved the freeze dryer down into the basement. So let me take you down there and show you the setup there. I was happy that I didn't have to be here to help and to be nervous about watching them do it. This is my parents' motorhome, by the way. This is how they're able to stay and visit us. And let's see. This is gonna be tricky. But anyways, they were able to move it. My dad got a little clip, so I'll insert that so you can see just how they moved it, because it is a 250-pound freeze dryer and it is tricky. But apparently they lifted it onto, they carried it out of the house, just Shawn and Christian, and they lifted it onto a board that was on the wagon behind me. I think it's still there. Yep, the board is on the wagon behind me. They lifted it onto that, and then Shawn drove the wagon very slowly while Christian held on to the freeze dryer to make sure it didn't move. And it rained last night and this morning, so it's muddy out here. So it's not all that fun. Okay, here we go. Oh, you know what? Let me go turn some lights on because you can't really see anything, and I'll put Coco away. I'll be right back. So down here in the basement, and there's the freeze dryer. I put the bag on top of it because I wanted to let it sit. We have to let it sit for 24 hours after moving it. So it's about ready. I think after lunch I'm gonna go ahead and get my next load going in there. But it's down here. They use some concrete pavers that I got to level out a surface for the freeze dryer. So it's sitting very level. The pump is over there, and I've got my fan down here, and the outlet that is a dedicated, because this is a large freeze dryer, so it needs a dedicated 20 amp plug. And so Shawn was able to install that. That was the one that we had hanging down. And actually it was the one that we stapled up to the ceiling for my parents to plug in their motorhome. And yesterday, before they did this job, they actually put in a 30 amp outlet for the motorhome. We had one run a while back when we thought there was a possibility that we would get a trailer to live in while we were doing our renovations, but then he stole that that plug or wire to hook up our dryer. So now we've got another one out there, and my parents are plugged in to that. So this is my dedicated freeze dryer plug, and it's the only other thing that it has there is just this little fan that I run on the pump. But I think it'll do a lot better down here because it's cooler. So I'm gonna turn it on and run it here in a little bit. And I don't even remember what I have going in there. Actually, I do remember. I did like a little kale paste. I have some kale from our CSA, and so I've got that going in. And I actually we made white chicken chili the other day, and so I took the leftovers and put those in some soap molds and froze it, and so that's gonna go in there. I don't know, when I bring it down I'll show you what all is going in there. But we still have to put up this other shelf. That is another job that we're gonna try to get to today, because I have buckets that need a home. So we got to get in here and level this out. And then eventually, Shawn and I talked about, we'll do pavers. I mean, Ideally, we would do pavers in this whole basement at some point, but for now, at least we want to do pavers from the stairs up to the freeze dryer and up to my other shelf, so that when you come down here, you don't have to worry about mud or anything like that. So I will take you up and give you an update on what else gets done today. It's really kind of loud up there. I think Christian's still sleeping, so I don't want to take you inside right now, but I will let you know what else has been done on the farm. All right, so this is one of the other changes that we made yesterday. Once they brought the freeze dryer down, we actually decided to switch spots between the refrigerator and the table there. So on the table I have, let's see, this does not live here. It's my rice cooker, but we had rice last night, so there's rice in there. I have my arrow garden. I just replanted my arrow garden, so I'm gonna grow tomatoes out of that. We've got the ice maker now. That's my digital electric canner, so that seemed like a good place for it. I just picked this up at Goodwill today. Not that I need another cookbook, but I like looking through those. So that, we feel like that is a better spot for the refrigerator. It kind of covers up the chimney where they ripped off the mantle, so you don't see that quite as much with the refrigerator there. Those buckets, like I said before, those are waiting to go downstairs. We have a little coffee station there, so that's nice. Haven't really organized the shelf at all, but I will work on that. And then the only other new addition, I think, is the air conditioner. Shawn installed that this morning. I don't know why it's not on, or it's not, I don't know, it's not blowing anything right now, but he'll come in and fix that. So we were sweating it out here yesterday. I think it was probably the warmest day so far this summer, and we did not have the air conditioning, and I was melting. And the other thing, I think on my last video I showed that I'd gotten one of the, can't remember the brand. It's in my head, I can see it. Kasori, oh yeah, that was it. Kasori air fryers, and my mom convinced me to trade it out for this one. She has this one and she loves it with a dual chamber. So we made some hash browns and some bacon in it this morning, and I'll play around with some other things that I can do in there. I was reading some posts on Facebook, and people say that they don't use their oven anymore. So I don't know how to use this as an oven. I haven't really looked at it, but I may be able to use it as my oven since I don't have one yet. And then I wanted to show you the spices. So this is what we put in the pho. Oh, sorry. We put this star aniseed in the pho. There was an Oriental, we went to an Oriental grocery store yesterday in town. I just Googled one and it came up, so we were able to get this there. And then this is the spice that she says, I said that you don't have to have it, but she tells me you do. So she says it will not taste right if you don't. So this is what it is. I don't know how to say that, so I'm showing you the packet. She said they're about $2.25 to $2.50 for a packet, and in there you can see there's some coriander and some fennel seed and some other things. I think she said it was dried oranges, but there's some other spices in there that help make it taste like pho. So that's what you need to make it taste like pho. The other thing she added just a few minutes ago was she added some sugar and some salt, and then she added the nuoc mam, which is the fish sauce. So let me show you that. We got this yesterday. So this is the fish sauce that she uses, and if you see, this was a full bottle. She used almost half of the bottle. So I can put the recipe down in the description box that we got out of her. She's making this pot and she's just kind of going and dumping stuff in there. So I haven't been able to keep up with what she's doing with it. When we get our bowls made, we will add cilantro if you like cilantro. We just cut some of it up here, and then some sliced green onions. And let me show you the noodles. So these are the rice noodles. You can get thicker rice noodles, but I think we like the thinner rice noodles. Let me show you the packet. So this is the fresh rice stick noodle. You can buy dried noodles. You just have to cook them longer, but we really like the fresh better. So if they're available, we'll get them. Sometimes, I know before we've gotten them where they keep them in the refrigerated section. These were already frozen, so they were frozen, and so I've got them soaking in some warm water there just to defrost them. All right, so we've got flank steak ready to go, bean sprouts. I love the bean sprouts, it adds a crunch to it. And here are our noodles. So the way that you do this, we have a pot over here of water. It's just about boiling. So what we do is we take our little, what is this called? Colander? And take a bunch of noodles and put it in here. Ooh, it's hot. It's hot outside and it's hot here by all of this. Alright, so let me get these noodles in the basket. And then we're going to dip them in the boiling water. And because these are fresh noodles, they're going to cook pretty fast. Let me put this up here. So when you dip them in, they cook really fast. And then we just put them right in a bowl.
I'm only going to do screws that I can get to easily.
I'm going to do this one without bean sprouts because most of my kids don't like bean
There'll be
sprouts.
2 other screws that hold that bar.
And then to cook the meat,
That bar is held on by more than 2 screws.
Oh,
you
yeah.
take
There was 7 or
the meat and put it in the spoon,
Yeah, the bar.
Yeah, that's overkill.
and then you dip it in the pho. And when you dip it, it actually cooks the meat right away. So you can kind of cook it to whatever you like your meat.
Know where it is to find it quick.
You just dip it in and out and it cooks the meat. And then when you pour it on your bowl, if it's not cooked yet, it'll cook when you add more broth.
Is it ready for some more noodle?
So you just throw the broth on top and it cooks the meat. And that's it. And then you can add whatever spices, or not spices, but if you like the cilantro or the green onions, you add it right on top. All right, it is 3:40, and as you can tell, it is raining. We haven't gotten very much done today. I shouldn't say that. Shawn has gotten a lot done. He put the other shelf down in the basement for me, and so now I have room for more of my storage buckets. I will take you down there probably tomorrow after it dries up a little bit. And I just got back from a run. The woman that I got the eggs from for my last freeze dryer run, sorry, thunder, she had another 10 dozen eggs for me. So I just ran to go get those from her and came back. I also did put a load in the freeze dryer. So right now in there is a tray of peas, a tray of corn. I have our leftover chicken chili with some rice. I also have some kale paste. I made a paste out of the kale that I had, and when that comes out, I'll powder it up and put it in smoothies and anything else I can sneak it in. And then there's also a tray. What was my other tray? Oh, Bailey's yogurt bites. So she put some yogurt bites in there. So that'll probably take 2 days for that tray to finish, and I will let you know how it comes out. But we are getting ready to leave. We have to go into Franklin. Bailey has a softball banquet tonight, so we're getting ready to leave to go to that. So we will pick this up tomorrow and let you know what fun things we're doing tomorrow. All right, see you tomorrow. All right, good morning, guys. It is, gosh, what day is it? Friday. I always forget the days. Now that I'm on summer break, I'm not going to remember the days. Love that. It is Friday, and it is 9:40 in the morning. My parents got up and they left probably about maybe 20 minutes ago, and we have already been hard at work. So we enjoyed their visit, but you know how it is when you have company. You've kind of, it stalls your progress a little bit. So that's what happened with my parents being here. We got some things done, but probably not as many things as we would have if it had just been us. So already, I think you saw Shawn was working on fixing the door in the kitchen that goes down into the basement. Every time you open that door, it drags on the floor and you have to lift up the door. That doesn't even really help. So he took the door off and he's reworking the frame of the door so that it will fit a little bit better and not drag on the floor. And my job in a few minutes is to go in there and clean out that little closet area that I've kind of been using to just stack things. And yesterday, Shawn and Christian were able to get my other shelf down in the basement. So let me take you down there and I'll show you where they put that. I don't even think I've been down there to look at it. It rained yesterday afternoon and last night a lot. So again, of course, that means it's muddy out here today. But it's supposed to be sunny today, so hopefully it'll dry up a little bit more. And let's see this. Oh, one of the things that was nice about my mom being here, because she is a gardener and she's gardened probably her whole life, is she just reminded me little things about like pinching the suckers off of the tomato plants. So little things like that I knew, I had heard, but I just kind of didn't even think about it and didn't think to do it. So she reminded me of that. So I went down and did that this morning. And I still have all those extra tomato plants I've got to find somewhere to put. So right now we're going down into the basement. Let me turn this camera around so I can show you what they did. All right, so when you come down here, over here is my freeze dryer. It is running still. It's been going for 19 hours and 49 minutes. So I expect that sometime today it'll be done. And I think I mentioned yesterday, right up here, I think on the top are those little yogurt bites that Bailey did. I have a tray of peas. That's our leftover chicken chili there. And then I think, well, yeah, that's the leftover chicken chili. And behind that, there's some rice. This is my kale paste. So I got a lot of kale from the CSA that we joined, and I don't typically cook with kale very much, so I went ahead to freeze it. I made it into a paste by just adding water and putting it into my Vitamix and put it on the tray. So when that comes out, I'm going to blend that into a powder, and I'll add that into, like I said, whatever I can sneak it into, and also smoothies that I make. And then here's some more of the white chicken chili, and I think behind that I did some frozen corn. So the corn and the peas were just kind of a way to fill up the trays because I really didn't have anything else. I do have watermelon ready to freeze dry, but I didn't want to put it in with kind of like the savory stuff. I didn't want to put fruit in there with that. So my next run may or may not be fruit. So here are some of the storage bins, and we actually found, I don't know if I had mentioned it, but we found a rack at our apartment. And so we're gonna bring that down here, and I'll be able to stack these on the rack and just keep them up off of the ground, because again, this is mud and dirt. And then over here is the new shelf that they put in, and I guess they moved some of my bins over here. So I've got some bins over here, and then over here is the shelf that we put the other day. So I have some more buckets upstairs I'll bring down and put in here. And Shawn, I don't know if you can see, but up at the top of the steps right there, that right there was where those PEX lines for the, we thought, see they're hanging out right there. We thought we were gonna put a sink there because we were gonna make that into a half bath, but we changed our mind on that, which I'm glad about now because I really want to have these stairs. Shawn will redo these stairs. He's gonna redo them because they're not the sturdiest, and this last one right here is not in in good shape here. This one isn't either. It's kind of like the board is loose on top. So he'll redo these steps, and also another reason for redoing it is when you go up, you hit your head right here because there's just not enough clearance between there and the step. So I'm gonna take you, let's get out of the basement and I'll take you into the kitchen. What he's been working on. This is the door. He's fixing the frame, and I think the door is fine, he said. And I just came in here and vacuumed in here to kind of get the cobwebs off. We just hadn't touched this closet because it wasn't high on the priority list. So the girls are going to come in. Coco's barking at me. The girls are going to come in and take off this wallpaper. And I gotta get this stuff out of here. And Shawn said there's a possibility he can build me some shelves in here today. So that's what our project is right now. What? She's wanting something, so I gotta go figure out what it is. Alright, it's about 5:10, and I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that we got done today. I think you saw Shawn was working on this door because every time we would open the door it would drag on the floor like that, and it was very annoying to get into, and this latch also didn't latch. So now it actually latches all the way, and the girls worked in here today. Natalie worked on getting the wallpaper off, and then Bailey came back through and vacuumed all of the remnants. So it's still not that pretty in here, but it is way better than it was. Shawn and I were actually looking at a picture that we took of this closet when we first bought the house, and we just couldn't believe it. There was so much trash and junk in here. We were talking about doing kind of like a side-by-side comparison of when we bought the house and what we've done so far with it. But this will be a nice little closet. Shawn will get in here to put some shelves in here for me. So this will be kind of like my upstairs pantry. So I have a few things I can put in here now, and then I'm gonna bring you down these steps because I actually did do some organizing with my shelves down here. So we have these little foam pieces that we kind of put down here as landing spots until we get around to putting some of those pavers down here. But I was able to organize my bins here. I know what they are, they're labeled. Some of them are duplicates. So what I did, like I have 3 flower buckets, so I put use me first. So I know if I come down here to refill my smaller container upstairs in the kitchen to get it out of here, and then I can just peel this tag off and move it to the next bin so that I'm constantly rotating through it. And then I organized this over here again so I know what it is that I have. And we're probably gonna get one more of these shelves at least. And instead of putting it over here, because it's so muddy, you can still see where I got stuck in the mud right there the other day, we are probably going to put it over here. So this was the little rack. This rack right here, we found sitting outside the dumpster at our apartment when we were moving out. So we grabbed it, and it is a great thing. Let me move out of the way so I can show you. It will store some of these 27-gallon totes. So I put some labels on there so we know what there are. Like I have a whole box of candles. Don't really know why I have so many. Well, I know why. I'm a teacher, and a lot of people give teachers candles for whatever reason. And I used to go into Aldi and I'd see their $3.99 jar candles, and they smelled good, and so I'd like, oh, I gotta get some of those, and I bought a bunch. And we don't even burn that many candles. So I have a whole box of candles there that I could not store upstairs because they would melt. And some of our food storage is down there. And then this is just all my freeze drying supplies in here. Things like the oil and the oil changing container, which I haven't done yet. But my freeze dryer is still going. It is almost done. You can see it just has a little bit of a tick mark left to go. It's been going for a total of 27, almost 27 and a half hours right now. So once that comes out, I will defrost it, and then I'll probably put another load in there. Not exactly sure what I have going in there, but I'll be putting something in there. So right now, Shawn and Christian are actually down at the mailbox fixing the mailbox. So I'm gonna take a walk down there and I'll show you what they're doing. Oh, and before I take you down to the mailbox, I wanted to show you this little thing that I just worked on. So this bin was one that we found that was left here on the farm, and it was over kind of in the shed with all of the things that we found here that we just didn't know what to do with. And I thought it would make a great little planter. I think it's cute. Shawn will probably tell me he hates it, but anyways, I've already planted it, it's so tough. These are 2 of my tomato plants, and then I also planted some carrots in there, the Imperator carrots, and then I put in some curled chervil. I really don't know why I ordered it. I've never used it before, but it sounded interesting, so I planted some in there. And I don't know if I showed this before or not, but I had planted herbs in here, and I'm so excited. Where is it? Look, my cilantro has started growing. Yay! Planted those from seed, and there's a little baby guy in there, and there's some parsley growing there, and I think my oregano has started growing. You can see the oregano there. So I'm excited that it's actually growing. Oh, yep, and then I've got some lemon balm growing right there. Some in there too. And a spider. And I think that's all that I have growing in here right now. Ooh, there's something coming up here. That's more cilantro. I did a lot of cilantro. So I've been kind of turning this thing and watering the side that didn't get the rain last night. All right, here we go to the mailbox. I just have to tell you, this is one of our favorite things about this farm, is the driveway. I think it's so pretty. I love it when the leaves are on the trees and the driveway is completely shaded.
Out on the side, you can see Christian.
Nothing for me, so everything's hidden. I mean, might as well. We did so good so far. What do you think?
I think it looks great. There's the new mailbox.
Christian's here. Put the top on.
Awesome. There's the old one
You ready? Stick it on.
right there.
We're fighting the traffic.
It's gonna be like a
Yeah.
sunlight.
So they're putting a solar topper on it because it is pitch black here at night. And last night we were driving back from Bailey's banquet, and it was like 9 o'clock, and the only way I could tell where the driveway was is I saw the white mailbox in the dark. Watch out. So when you come to get the mail, you have to be careful because this is a highway that we live on, and the cars like to pass right here because this is the first opportunity when you're on this highway that you have to pass. So they like to pass on this stretch. And we also picked up some white paint so they can paint the post that the mailbox is on. So while I'm down here, I thought I'd show you some of the view. On this side, and one of the neat things over there, there's a couple properties that are for sale over there. And one of Shawn's buddies is coming up tomorrow, and there's an auction on one of these farms. It's 89 acres. There's an auction on it tomorrow, and so one of Shawn's buddies from high school is coming up, and they may bid on it. So we may have a neighbor living right over there. In fact, I think that red barn that you can see there, I think is part of that property. So we shall see. While I'm down here, I thought I would show this sign. So this is from the farm that used to be here, and it's all faded and everything, and obviously that phone number does not work anymore, but we want to put our sign, we want to make a sign and put up there someday. That's on the long list of things to do. All right, Christian and I are walking back up to the house, but I wanted to show you this sign. We always get compliments on this sign whenever we hang it up. So it's a great little deterrent as you're coming up the driveway. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. I think the boys are gonna finish up on the mailbox. We're gonna take showers, and I think we're gonna go into town for some Mexican food tonight for dinner. So that's the plan. Let's see, this weekend we have Shawn's buddy coming into town tomorrow morning to go look at a couple houses, so we'll probably go with them there. They're just down the street. I think I've pointed them out. And then we're gonna try to get as much work done here on the farm as we can, so we will show you guys what we get into. In the meantime, thanks for watching. We've got a lot more people watching now than just the people that are our family, so thank you for joining us, and be sure to subscribe so you can see what else we do on this farm or what else we can get into. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. So when we got done having our pho, we had enough broth left over that I actually ran out of noodles. Otherwise we probably would have eaten another day of it. But I ended up with 5 trays of broth, and I freeze dried that. It took, I'm guessing, let's see, because I put in extra dry time, it took probably about 35 hours, maybe 34 hours to freeze dry, because I did not pre-freeze it. Usually I pre-freeze it, but my freeze dryer was ready to go and I didn't have it frozen yet, so I went ahead and just put it in its liquid state, and it took about 35 hours. So I'm packaging the pho broth, that's the broth, in the Mylar bags, and I'll seal those up and we will have them. I would guess one of these trays is about 2 to 3 bowls of soup. So this will be neat to have, and I'll probably leave one of the trays in a jar so we can try it in a couple weeks when I get some noodles and see how it tastes. Alright, so when I put the 5 trays, I got 4 bags. Like I said, each bag is about 2 to 3 bowls. This was one whole tray. So these are sealed up in Mylar with an oxygen absorber. And then this one I just put in a pint jar. This was one whole tray, and I put it in the Vitamix to kind of get it a little bit smaller in density. I don't know if that's the right word. But anyways, and I couldn't get my vacuum sealer to seal that. So when the freeze dryer is done defrosting, I'll put it in there and use the freeze dryer to seal this. I don't know if there's something wrong with my, because I was able to use my vacuum sealer on the larger, on a quart jar, and that attachment worked fine, but the pint jar would not seal. So I don't know if there's something wrong with my pint jar attachment. But anyways, when I get noodles, we'll try this and see how it goes, and see what how much water we need to reconstitute it. And if it tastes the same,